TaylorMade driver. That's a TaylorMade feel. Okay everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's that time of the year and it's launch time. Lots of new brands launching some new products for 2021, and this particular video we're going to take a look at TaylorMade. So obviously TaylorMade always do some big launches, some big build-ups. Everybody's sort of excited to see what they're going to offer, what sort of claims they're going to make, because they're never shy on making those bold claims, are they? Lots of technology to talk about in these drivers. So we've got SIM2, SIM2 Max, and then SIM2 Max Draw. So we're going to hit some shots as always, give you some testing, Trackman numbers to back up, and also my personal feedback of the looks and the feel of these new drivers. So the new SIM2 lineup is obviously replacing the original SIM, which was shape in motion. That technology is staying, that aerodynamics, trying to create as much speed as possible just before that impact position to maximize club head speed and obviously then ball speed. Some new technology added into that. We've seen some of the older technology, you know, twist face. We've got speed injection, which we'll talk a little bit about. But then there's some differences of the club head, more carbon we're seeing here. We're seeing this sort of back aluminium, forged aluminium back ring section. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. We're going to get some shots hit first, just get some initial numbers, initial sort of looks and feels of these drivers. We're going to start with the SIM2 first. So SIM2 to start off with, so this is replacing the original SIM. Now the original SIM had the movable weight at the front, that track in the front section. That's gone now. There's actually no movable weights in the head at all on any of these models, which is quite interesting. So that sort of theory has actually gone now. We've still got the speed pocket in the front. We have got a sort of a screw in the front section, which is positioned quite central there. That's trying to sort of push that CG sort of low in that club face and also forward. Then obviously we've got a very bold, this blue, very bright blue sort of back edge, which in all honesty, I'm not keen on the colour. I do like blue, but it just looks a bit cheap in that back section. But having said that, when you put it down by the golf ball, it looks great. I do like the look of it. I was a big fan of the way the SIM looked, and this is very, very similar. And I'm pleased they've not really changed the shaping of the head in any way from that playing position. So obviously we've got that carbon on the top. Carbon's gone a little bit darker now. It's a little bit more of a lighter grey in the SIM. This is now a little bit dark, which is good. We've got that sort of slight off-white around that top, and obviously now we've got this blue lipsticking around the back section, which it just puts a little bit off-putting with the eye for me personally, but again, it's personal looks into it down there about that golf ball. So let's get this first one underway. Oh, that's a lovely opening shot, and I tell you what, that is just a typical TaylorMade sound, TaylorMade feel that we sort of tend to be associated with. That was a lovely hit out there. It's been a little bit high on that particular one, but good ball speed, 165. Nice carry distance there, good launch. That's a good strike, just up that left side fractionally, but not by much. Good solid connection though. Yeah, definitely, you know, with that carbon sort of crown there, we are getting that sound, that muted sound, that solid crack. And I was a big fan of the way the sort of original SIM sat, the original SIM felt. It was a very popular drive, did perform very nicely. And that just, it's starting to have that same appearance behind the golf balls we mentioned, and also that same sort of feel and off that club face. Okay, so let's talk and dive into a little bit with the technology that TaylorMade are offering in this new lineup. So what we can clearly see here is more carbon. That's the big sort of factor here. So we've got a carbon top, which is a 6-layer. It's incredibly thin. Again, it's all about saving weight in that crown and then sort of repositioning that. You look in the bottom section, and now we've got a full carbon sole. Now this, I believe, is a 9-layer, so you can appreciate there's going to be sometimes in certain golfers some turf interaction. So that carbon needs to be quite a bit tougher than the crown to absorb if there's any contact with that ground. So it's a 9-layer carbon, a little bit more of a stiffer sort of makeup really in that section. But obviously, again, it's saving weight. So we've lost the titanium in the sole, full carbon sole now. So the only part of the titanium in the actual club head is the club face itself. Club face, and just around that perimeter there, that little front section is the only part which is titanium, which is unbelievable, isn't it? So we've got the carbon, big carbon section there, again, loads more weight saved. And then also we've got this forged aluminium, which is milled. Again, it's very high strength, it's lightweight, so it's replacing the titanium, it's saving weight. So now we've got this tungsten plug in the back section of the inertia generator, you know, the strip there that sticks out that sometimes just looks a bit weird, doesn't it, on that bottom section. You don't obviously see that from the plane position, but then that tungsten weight, so in the SIM2, we've got a 16 gram weight position at the back, so it's pulling that weight back, you know, trying to get that MOI obviously as high as it possibly can. Yeah, that's lovely. Definitely cut that a slightly high, slightly toe there, but again, ball speed very consistent around that 165. A little bit more of a lower spin with that slight toe strike. Okay, so what else is happening in this club head? So we're seeing obviously twist face, that is staying in the range. So we've got twist face, we've got speed injection, but what you'll probably see in the new SIM2 now, those ports in the face have now disappeared, which I think is a good thing. They were just, it just didn't look quite right for my eyes. So that's actually gone, and there's only one port now, which is just in that toe section. So very, very subtle, very small port there. So they've just got a port in the toe. So they're still going down that theory of making these faces illegal as they come off the production line, and then they inject a certain amount of resin into that toe section to slow the club face down to get it right on that legal limit. Okay, so they're trying to get these faces obviously as hot as they possibly can for every driver that is coming off the production line. All right, that's right off the bottom of the club face. That's flown out very nice and neutral. A little bit of left to right on it. Definitely off that bottom of the face. So we're looking at ball speed there. We're going to see a drop, and yes we do, but only by 3 miles an hour. So it wasn't a big drop. See, the launch dropped massively. Spin's gone up. We lose a lot of carry. It's a weak golf shot, that isn't it? But we have got that speed pocket in the front section of the sole there. So that little slit behind. We've seen it in many models now from TaylorMade, and even other brands, to be honest, as well, which just helps to try and get that flex and those low strikes. And that's a good one there. So it has dropped a little bit ball speed, as you'd expect, but not a huge drop off. Okay, so what are these available in? So we have options of an 8 degree, a 9 degree, and then a 10 degree. Okay, all of those are available in right hand, but for you lefties out there, it's available in a 9 and a 10 degree only. So there's no 8 degree available for left-handers, unfortunately. Still got obviously the neck sleeve that hasn't changed, so we can adjust loft up and down by 2 degrees, which, as we know, is going to affect face angle. I've done an in-depth a video explaining how that loft sleeve works, exactly how much loft, how much face angle changes when you change it. I'll put a little link, you can go and check that out for a little bit more detail in there. So you have got that adjustability in terms of getting that club face sitting the way you want it. I've just got this 9 degree and set at 9 degree, and to be honest, as I put that down, it sits pretty square. It sits really nice, actually, to be honest. Certain drivers do tend to sit a little bit more toed in than others. Again, you can alter that loft, so if you prefer to see more of an open face, if you've got a left miss, for instance, you may be maybe buying a sort of 10 degree head possibly, and then lofting it back down to 9 degree, which will slightly open the club face, and maybe just to get it to sit, or try and create a better miss for you, or reduce a certain miss that you've got in your game. So again, there's all that adjustability. That's obviously going to happen through a custom fit process with your fitter. Yeah, and that feels fantastic. It's a great feel. It's a good look down by the golf ball. Like the look of that. Bottom of it, away from the golf ball, I'm not a huge fan. It just looks a little bit, it just looks a little bit cheap looking in my eyes, but again, who cares what the bottom looks like? It's all about, for me, the playing position, how it feels, how it performs, which is obviously the important bit. So let's jump into the SIM2 Max. Okay, so jumping into the SIM2 Max. So clearly this is just going to replace now the SIM Max. Again, no adjustable weights, as we didn't see in the original SIM Max. We've got that weighted screw, again, that front section, but now positioned slightly more into that heel side. So again, it's about creating that little bit more MOI. And we've got now more weight in that tungsten back section of the inertia generator is now 24 grams. So we're seeing more weight in that back section. So typically more weight pulled back helps to create more of a stable club through that impact on those miss hits. So higher MOI. So maybe this against the original, or the SIM2, should I say, is a little bit more of a forgiving golf club. So technology wise, everything is happening the same. We've got all the same features that we've just gone through on that SIM2, but obviously now just more weight in that back section. Down by the golf ball, the head shape looks exactly the same as the SIM2, so there's no real change. It doesn't go into a bigger footprint. The shape in the head looks exactly the same. Okay, and that felt wonderful again. Nice neutral ball flight. Looked to spin a little bit higher there. I'm not sure what that spin's coming out. Yeah, 3-3. So might see a little bit more spin, maybe that weight pulled back a tiny bit. Possibly maybe that spin number will go up fractionally. It'll be interesting to sort of see it as an average. Again, as we always know, you know, strike around that club face will always alter spin by quite a bit. See, that was a Healy shot. That wasn't a great strike. That ball speed drop there, just short of 159 ball speed. That spin goes shooting up there. That's just heel strike. What I've just said, strikes will always move those numbers, or definitely that spin a little bit more really than what weight probably can do through and around the head, and probably what shafting can do as well. That was a nice shot. Definitely looks to be a little bit higher on that flight, a little bit more, for me personally, my speed and my delivery, a little bit more like it's stalling a little bit. Yeah, again, 3-2 on that spin, a little bit high for me. So this would be great for somebody who maybe needs to try and get that spin up a little bit more. Maybe somebody who's trying to get a little bit more accuracy on the golf shots. You know, sometimes a little bit more of that backspin on the golf ball can help to reduce the side tilt of the spin axis of the golf ball, so can actually produce some slightly straighter golf shots. Yes, maybe not as efficient in terms of maximising distance, but again, it depends on what you're after in a driver. If distance isn't a massive objective to get, then but more accuracy is, then sometimes spin can help on that front. That was a good shot. That was slightly higher in toe. I might expect that spin to drop there. See what that comes out. Yeah, 2.9, so it's dropped a fraction there, just through that slightly higher sort of toe in that strike. Get good ball speed. So the other bit of technology that we haven't sort of talked about yet is the club face, but behind the club face. So we've now got back forged, or back milling is what TaylorMade are calling it. So behind the club face, obviously we can't see that, but behind the club face we've got a variable face thickness and milled. So as I say before, that was the only part of the club head that is actually titanium, and they've now milled it, and we've got that variable face. So around that sort of twist face, as the toe is pulled back, the heel is pulled down and back, we've then got the variable face thickness behind it. Again, it's all about ball speed, and it's all CNC milled in the back section of that club face. Again, not a bad strike, just fraction up that right hand side, but that is a fairway finder. So it does feel quite stable. That definitely for me personally, it just flies a little bit too high for my personal preference, but a little bit too much spin by the looks of things there. Obviously getting that little bit of carry there because it's spinning, it's staying in the air, but I'd probably just personally like to see that come out a little bit flatter for my personal eye. So availability, so we've got a 9 degree, a 10.5 and a 12 degree head options. They're all available in right hand, and then for the left-handers we've got 9 and 10.5 degree only, so no 12 degree for the left-handers. And as always, we've got plenty of shaft options, grip options in custom, so again, my message to you guys would always go out and get fit. But let's go and jump into some numbers, and we'll just check out how those two particular drivers are working. So we can see with the dispersion rings there, the SIM2 Max was actually a little bit tight, a little bit more consistent on those 5 shots we hit. We've got a very similar shape on all of them. Okay, that short one there you can see was that real heel necky one, which obviously lost a lot of distance, but it was still accurate to find the fairway. And obviously the SIM2 maybe just had a couple up that left hand side, couple out to that right slightly, so obviously dispersion ring got a little bit larger. So then if we look at the numbers there, so we've got SIM2 on the bottom, SIM2 Max on the top in the yellow, so we can see 113.2, 112.2, so didn't really feel that, to be honest, but obviously on average there 1 mile an hour slower than Max. Ball speed wise, you can see 1.8 mile an hour slower with the Max, probably through that club head speed more than anything, to be honest, but very, very similar. Launch, very similar as you'd expect, both 9 degree, not going to change massively on that launch, but you could see there with the spin, so 3,300 against 2,789. Granted, there was a couple of little necky ones in there with the, obviously that one there, you can see 3.8, that was that real heel one, pulled off a lot of distance off that, didn't it? But so let's maybe take that out, because that was the worst strike out of all the shots it hit. So I'm going to take that out, so you can see the averages there, 3.2, still in that higher spin bracket by about 500 revs. Distance-wise, very, very similar on that fly, isn't it? Land angle quite different. Again, they're really through that height of the ball flight, a little bit more of that spin, so you can see the descent angle a little bit steeper, so potentially not as much run out, so you can see your 308 against 315 in the actual run out itself. Right, okay everybody, so there we go. There's the brand new SIM2 lineup. So we've got SIM2, SIM2 Max. The draw, unfortunately, I haven't got that driver at the moment, but hopefully I'll get my hands on that soon and maybe bring that video for you. But these are probably going to be the main two selling drivers, I would say, in the lineup. Great product, again, TaylorMade, you know, they never really sort of disappoint. Yes, it's out there, it's colourful, maybe not for me personally. Again, the looks at the bottom of the club isn't massively important, is it? I just don't quite like that look at the bottom, but the playing position's great. Yet again, the sound, the feel is superb, and the numbers are pretty good, aren't they, to back that up with. So again, you've got to get these fitted. Loads of different options in that neck sleeve, you know, loft options, you've got shaft options, you know, really dial it into your specific delivery. That's so important to do. You don't be buying these blind without, you know, knowing your specs and being measured and comparing it. You just can't do it in my eyes. It's a big, big gamble with your money, isn't it? Post comments down below, I'll let you know your thoughts on the new Sim Max and SIM2 lineup. Interested in those, I think it's going to be a popular option yet again from TaylorMade. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, if you enjoyed the video, then please comment, please subscribe, please hit the like button. Very much appreciate your support as always, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.